I'm just your average, snack-loving, adventure-chasing golden dog. And guess what? My best friend Dad and I go on the coolest adventures. We've got a big black Jeep named Birdie, a whole world to explore, and, of course, plenty of snacks. Every week is a brand new tail-wagging adventure. You never know what we'll find. Hidden carrots, new friends, maybe even buried treasure. So grab your hat, pack your snacks, and come with us.
Harley and Dad's epic Canadian tour, Quebec. Oliver the RV purred along the highway, his tires humming on the road. The signs outside were suddenly different, full of accents and curvy letters. Harley pressed his nose to the glass, tail thumping. Dad! Finally! I've been waiting for Quebec. I've been practicing my French. I'm basically fluent. Harley pointed to a sign as they drove past. That one said sortie. That means snack stop. Dad chuckled. No, buddy. It means exit. Welcome to Quebec. Harley wagged his tail. I was so close. He puffed out his chest. Je m'appelle Harley. Dad nodded. Very good. Harley grinned. That means, my name is Harley. Dad grinned. Excellent. Let's put those language skills to use, hey? Oliver came to a stop at the Aquarium du Québec. Inside the aquarium, tanks shimmered with glowing blue water. Polar bears lumbered on the rocks. Seals swirled like ribbon dancers. Harley puffed up proudly. Time to test my French again. He wagged at the beluga tank. Mon gros sous se danser en tango, s'il vous plaît. He turned to Dad. I just asked for a bottle of water. Dad looked puzzled, and a little girl giggled. You said, my fat cabbage can dance the tango, please. Harley gasped. What? My cabbage can barely waltz. The belugas squeaked like they were laughing at him. He tried again at the seal tank. Tu es mi boulet vidion. Looking at Dad, Harley said confidently, I told them, you are my friends. But a teenager nearby snickered. Actually, you said, you are my meatballs. Harley froze. I what? He turned to the seals. I didn't mean it. I'd never eat you, unless you were spaghetti. The seals twirled away, unimpressed. Before leaving, Harley spotted a plushy beluga in the gift shop. He hugged it tight. This is Bubbles, and at least he speaks fluent squeak. Oliver carried them to the mighty Montmorency Falls, taller than Niagara. The thunder of the water shook the ground. Mist puffed Harley's fur until he looked like a golden puffball. Ce sent le vieux fromage, Harley shouted. Dad raised an eyebrow. I don't know what you meant to say, but you actually said, this smells like old cheese. Tourists giggled. Harley sniffed suspiciously. Well, maybe it does smell cheesy. On the suspension bridge, Harley struck a pose. Une photo de la pomme de terre, s'il vous plaît. The tourist laughed. You want a photo of your potato? My potato? Harley gasped. Dad, where's a potato? Dad shook his head, laughing. At least you're trying, pup. The tourist smiled and took a photo of Harley and Dad on the suspension bridge. At Valcartier Waterpark, Harley's eyes nearly popped out. Slides twisted like spaghetti. Kids shrieked as they splashed into pools. This is heaven, Harley gasped. he trotted up to the lifeguard. J'aimerais apprendre un chèvre à siffler. The guard chuckled. You'd like to teach a goat how to whistle? Dad nearly fell over laughing. Harley huffed. Well, goats should learn new skills. Dad grinned. I think he meant I'd like to go swimming now. The guard pointed them toward a stand with inner tubes. Later, waiting in line, Harley drooped his ears. I don't think I'm very good at French, Dad. Dad ruffled his head. Never give up, Harley. You'll get it yet. Harley nodded and perked his ears up as they got to the front of a lazy river. Carefully climbing into a tube, they spent the rest of the afternoon floating and talking with other visitors. At the end of the river, Harley climbed out. J'ai très soif. Dad blinked. That means, I am very thirsty. Harley cheered. Yes, got one. After a quick drink of water, they had time for one more ride. They shot down a giant slide. Harley screamed the whole way, then popped up barking. Encore! Encore! Dad gave him a thumbs up. You got another one right. The wide plains of Abraham stretched out with rows of old cannons. This, Dad explained, is where a battle between the French and British happened in 1759. It changed Canadian history. Harley scrambled onto a cannon, lifted his paw, and shouted, Je suis le roi des marionnettes chaussettes. Tourists clapped. Harley beamed. That means I am the king of snacks. But a historian nearby chuckled. Actually, you said I am the king of sock puppets. Harley froze. Sock puppets? No, I wanted snacks. He tried again. J'aime l'histoire. Harley looked at the historian. I too like history. I think that's what you meant. She winked at Harley. And I also like sock puppets. They took a guided tour of the Plains of Abraham, seeing cannons, forts, and graves. When they finished there, it was off to Old Quebec. The cobblestones of Old Quebec clacked under Dad's boots and Harley's paws. Horse-drawn carriages clip-clopped past. Cafe windows spilled out the smell of croissants. Harley strutted proudly into a bakery. Je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît. Dad whispered, Good job, Harley. That actually means I'd like a croissant, please. The baker laughed, Très bien, and handed Harley a huge buttery croissant. Harley took an enormous bite. Best reward ever, he said. Outside, Harley wagged at a horse-drawn carriage. Beau cheval. Dad nodded. That means beautiful horse. The driver stopped in front of them. Would you like a ride? Harley looked at Dad, eyes wide, and Dad nodded. With a leap, Harley was up, sitting behind the reins, while the driver looked both amused and surprised. Would you like to sit inside the carriage? He pointed where Dad had settled in. Oh, said Harley, grinning a bit. I thought you wanted me to drive. Maybe next time, the driver said, laughing. Harley climbed in back with Dad and took hundreds of pictures as they clip-clopped through Old Quebec. After the ride, Harley gently patted the horse. Tu es une belle pomme de terre. The horse snorted loudly, but was smiling. He is a handsome potato, said the driver, and gave both Dad and Harley a friendly wave goodbye. That night, Oliver rested by the glowing city walls. Dad sipped tea, watching the lanterns twinkle. Harley curled on his blanket, surrounded by Snorty the pig, Bruce the bison, Scotty the dino, Ogie the ogopogo, Beatrice the butterfly, and his brand new friend, Bubbles the beluga. Harley drifted into dreams of croissants, sock puppets, and a goat that could whistle. Half asleep, Harley mumbled, "Oui, oui, je suis un sofa, cabbage tango, radish king, handsome potato." Dad chuckled softly, tucking the blanket around his best buddy. "Good night, my little bilingual disaster." And under the French-Canadian stars, Harley sighed. Best trip ever.
What a great day that turned out to be! Best day ever. I can't wait until next week when we go on another adventure. Make sure you click subscribe so you can join me, and like my video too, please, because I sure like you.